Is it possible for a single name to paralyze the world's largest entertainment city, cause global servers to stutter, freeze digital queues, and leave millions of people wondering in half disbelief? Is this even crazier than the Taylor Swift era? That question did not arise from empty sensationalism, but from a real event that quietly exploded on January 21st, when the limited pre-sale for BTS's 2026 Arirang World Tour, or more precisely Jungkook's, transformed Las Vegas from a city of celebration into a city trapped in a modern ritual called the virtual queue. There were no fireworks, no major press conference, no dramatic announcement in Times Square. And yet, that was precisely where the shock lay. An exclusive pre-sale open only to holders of Allegiant Stadium's personal seat license, a group that does not even represent the majority of ARMY, suddenly became a focal point of global attention. Within minutes, digital queues ballooned, waiting times spiked without certainty, and social media began to fill with screenshots that felt like déjà vu, only on a scale that seemed more brutal, more intense, and somehow more silent. Allegiant Stadium, the official home of the Las Vegas Raiders with a capacity of over 65,000 seats, no longer felt like just a sports venue or a typical concert arena. On that day, it became a new symbol of how global fandom power operates in the post-pandemic era, post-military hiatus, and post-redefinition of the entertainment industry. This pre-sale did not offer VIP seats, nor exclusive packages with soundchecks or premium merchandise. Yet ticket prices ranging from $95 to $500 created a paradox. The more normal those prices appeared, the more brutal the competition became. For many industry observers, pre-sales of this kind usually run relatively calmly. Access is limited, the audience is specific, and the buzz often gets drowned out by the general sale. But what happened in Las Vegas was the opposite. The virtual queue stretched steadily, moving so slowly that it triggered a familiar form of psychological panic among veteran fans. On Platform X, an ARMY user named Hannah Bangtony shared her experience in real time, describing how the queue felt unreasonable, even by global concert standards. The post spread quickly, was translated into multiple languages, and became a form of social proof that something big, and possibly historic, was unfolding. What made this event even more compelling was its timing. This was not a general sale, nor the official ARMY membership pre-sale scheduled to begin the following day via Weverse and Ticketmaster. This was merely a silent opening, a small crack in the ticketing system that usually escapes widespread public attention. Yet it was precisely through that crack that a rough picture emerged of what might happen once sales truly opened to millions of ARMY around the world. If a limited pre-sale alone could create a virtual queue that felt frozen, what would happen when the gates were fully opened? This is where the narrative began to shift from a mere concert story to a social phenomenon. Many analysts started drawing bold, some might say taboo, comparisons, placing Jungkook's level of enthusiasm alongside other global pop icons like Taylor Swift. This comparison, of course, is not about musical quality alone, but about mass momentum, speed of demand, and the intensity of emotional fan engagement. Taylor Swift is known for the Eras Tour, which shattered revenue records and stimulated the economies of major cities. Yet what happened in Las Vegas signaled that a new kind of frenzy might be emerging. More fragmented, more digital, and perhaps more unpredictable. Ticket prices that leaked to the public further reinforced this narrative. Screenshots shared by the account at Touring Asia Pop showed upper-level stadium seats such as Sector 224 Row 9 or Sector 230 Row 12 priced at just $95, a figure that sounded almost impossible for a concert with such overwhelming demand. This information spread like wildfire, triggering waves of mixed emotions: hope, anxiety, and fear of missing out. At the same time, reports from resale markets like Vivid Seats and SeatGeek began to reveal the darker side of the euphoria, with premium ticket prices soaring into the thousands of dollars, as if the secondary market had prepared itself faster than the official system. Yet behind the numbers and digital queues lay a much deeper emotional layer. The Arirang Tour is not merely a new series of concerts. It marks BTS's return after a long period of mandatory military service, a phase that once left the industry wondering whether their global momentum could be sustained. A new album scheduled for release on March 20, 2026 serves as the emotional foundation of this tour, with Las Vegas positioned as one of the crucial points in the comeback narrative. The concert dates, May 23, 24, and 27, 2026, seem to have transformed into symbols rather than mere entries on a calendar. Hashtags like #BTS_World Tour and #BTS Comeback 2026 began to dominate timelines, not because of aggressive promotional campaigns, but due to organic reactions from a fan base that felt it was witnessing a historic moment. Many realized that this was no longer just about securing tickets, but about being early witnesses to the birth of a new era. Concerns over dynamic pricing that could drive prices even higher only added another layer of tension, creating an atmosphere in which every minute felt critical. To this point, one question hangs in the air, still unanswered. If a limited pre-sale alone could generate this level of frenzy, what will happen when the general sale opens and millions of ARMY across different time zones charge in simultaneously? Las Vegas may only be the beginning, but what happened on January 21st has already offered an early clue that the Arirang 2026 tour is not merely a comeback tour. It is a major stress test for the global music industry's infrastructure, and perhaps a redefinition of just how crazy fan enthusiasm can truly become. If the virtual queue is a mirror of collective desire, then what happened after the limited Las Vegas pre-sale was no longer a mere reflection, but a massive distortion that exposed the rawest side of the modern entertainment industry. The question has now shifted. No longer, is this crazier than Taylor Swift? But rather, is the global music industry system truly prepared to confront the full force of the BTS fandom returning at full strength? Because what appears on the surface is only a queue screen and waiting time numbers, while beneath it lies a collision between technology, mass psychology, and ever-inflating economic value. The official ARMY membership pre-sale, which opened on January 22 at 1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time via Weverse and Ticketmaster, became the real test. If the Raiders PSL pre-sale the day before was an early tremor, the next wave felt like the main earthquake, shaking long-standing structures. Within minutes, millions of accounts logged in almost simultaneously, creating extreme pressure on ticketing systems, long believed to be the most capable of handling global demand. The queue no longer felt personal but collective and anonymous, as if every fan were swept into a massive current moving without clear direction. This is where psychological phenomena began to take over. Many ARMY reported mixed emotions that were difficult to explain rationally. There was tension when the queue number stopped moving, euphoria when the green bar advanced by a single millimeter, and mental exhaustion that came simply from staring at a screen for hours. Some even compared it to the experience of facing a major exam or a critical job interview, an indication that this concert had moved beyond entertainment alone and into symbolic territory tied to achievement and identity. Comparisons with other major tours resurfaced, especially Taylor Swift's The Eras Tour, known for shattering ticket sales and revenue records. Yet many observers began to recognize a fundamental difference. While the Eras Tour was a carefully packaged retrospective celebration driven by nostalgia, Arirang arrives as a moment of resurgence. It is not merely a musical journey, but a declaration that BTS, and Jungkook as one of its central pillars, has not lost momentum despite stepping away from the global stage due to national obligations. On the contrary, that hiatus appears to have crystallized longing into demand that is denser and more aggressive. Amid queues that felt endless, reports about ticket prices began shaping a new narrative. In Las Vegas, a range of $200 to $500 for regular seats was considered reasonable by some fans, a phrase that might sound ironic to the general public. Yet within the global fandom, those numbers were seen as an acceptable compromise, especially when compared with secondary market prices that were already spiraling out of control. On resale platforms, premium tickets were reported to surge to nearly $5,000, creating an extreme gap between official access and free market reality. This phenomenon raised ethical and structural questions that are becoming increasingly difficult to ignore. Dynamic pricing, systems that adjust prices in real time based on demand, once again became a target of criticism. Many ARMY felt that this system blurred the line between business strategy and emotional exploitation. Yet on the other hand, the fact that tickets continued to sell rapidly, even at elevated prices, sent a clear signal that demand far exceeded supply. This was no longer about whether prices were too high, but about how much symbolic value fans attach to physically being present at the concert. The Arirang Tour itself expands the scope of this phenomenon, with more than 30 global shows scheduled through 2027, spanning major North American cities such as Baltimore, Toronto, Foxborough, Arlington, and Los Angeles, as well as European and Asian destinations like London, Munich, Busan, and Goyang. The tour feels like a transcontinental cultural project. Yet Las Vegas holds a unique position. It is not merely a concert location, but a symbolic stage where the American entertainment industry is tested by the force of Asian pop, long considered alternative, but now firmly positioned at the heart of the mainstream. On social media, small personal stories from ARMY further reinforced this broader narrative. Some admitted to waking up before dawn just to ensure a stable internet connection. Others prepared multiple devices at once, while some confessed to failing to secure tickets despite waiting for hours. These failures, rather than dampening enthusiasm, only strengthen the myth of how difficult this tour is to access. In mass psychology, scarcity often increases value, and Arirang appears to be a perfect case study of that principle. Interestingly, attention has not focused solely on BTS as a group, but also on Jungkook as a central figure whose appeal extends beyond traditional fandom boundaries. Many observers noted that Jungkook's name frequently emerged as a primary keyword in searches and online conversations surrounding the tour. This has fueled speculation that his personal magnetism plays a significant role in the extraordinary scale of demand. Does this mean Jungkook has reached the level of a global pop icon capable of standing alongside, or even surpassing major Western names? The question has no definitive answer yet, but the digital cues and sales figures offer clues that are hard to ignore. At this point, the music industry appears to be at a crossroads. Legacy systems designed for high demand are beginning to show cracks when confronted with a fandom that is highly organized, deeply connected, and emotionally driven. The Las Vegas Arirang presale was not only about who managed to secure tickets, but about how collective fan power can test the limits of technology, pricing policies, and even dominant narratives about who truly holds control in the global entertainment economy. And as the general sale was scheduled to open on January 24 at 1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, tension escalated several levels higher. Many realized that whatever the outcome, whether tickets sold out within minutes or systems once again buckled under pressure, one thing was already certain. The phrase "the craziest queue record of 2026" was not mere sensationalism. It was an honest description of a moment when the world watched, almost without blinking, as music, technology, and human emotion collided on a scale rarely seen. When the general sale finally opened and thousands of complaints, screenshots, and personal testimonies flooded social media, one realization slowly solidified into an unspoken consensus: what happened with the Arirang 2026 tour was not a fleeting anomaly, but a sign of the times. The record-breaking frenzy of queues was not merely about how many minutes or hours someone waited behind a screen, but about how the very meaning of a concert has fundamentally changed. It is no longer a transaction between audience and stage, but a global ritual involving the hopes, anxieties, and collective identity of millions. Las Vegas, a city accustomed to grand spectacles and legendary names, suddenly lost its privilege as the center of entertainment control. In the old narrative, this was the city that set the standard, that decided who deserved to be called a phenomenon. But in the case of Jungkook and BTS, that role was reversed. The city instead became a passive witness to a wave arriving from outside, from a global fandom unbound by geography, culture, or even language. At this point, Las Vegas was no longer presenting the concert, it was being presented by the concert itself. Comparisons with Taylor Swift resurfaced, but now with a different tone. What once felt provocative became reflective. Taylor Swift represents the pinnacle of a mature, structured, and established Western pop system. Jungkook, together with BTS, represents something else entirely. A cultural force born from digital connectivity, emotional loyalty, and an extreme sense of collective ownership. Both are massive, both are historic, yet they operate by different logics. And it is precisely this difference that made the Arirang queues feel more chaotic, more untamed, and for many more unsettling. For ARMY, failing to secure tickets was not the end of the story. Many stated that simply being part of the queue already felt like participating in a historic moment. This may sound irrational to outside observers, but therein lies the heart of the phenomenon. This tour is not only selling stadium seats but also a symbolic experience. The feeling of being part of something enormous, something that happens only once, and something that will be talked about for years to come. In this context, the virtual queue transformed into a new social space, where emotions were shared and identities affirmed. The music industry, whether it likes it or not, must redraw its map of power. The record-breaking queues of 2026 force larger questions to be asked. Are current ticketing infrastructures still relevant in facing a new generation of global fandoms? Will dynamic pricing continue to be upheld despite triggering mass frustration? And most crucially, can the definition of the biggest artist in the world still be measured solely by revenue figures and ticket sales, without accounting for the intensity of emotional fan engagement? Behind all of this, one fact is difficult to dispute. The return of BTS, with Jungkook as one of its central pillars, has created a resonance that exceeds even the most optimistic expectations. A new album on the horizon, a tour schedule stretching densely into 2027, and a global response that borders on uncontrollable have formed a cohesive narrative of a post-hiatus era that is not merely successful, but explosive. This is not a cautious comeback, but a loud and unmistakable declaration of presence, and in the end, perhaps the original question, crazier than Taylor Swift? Does not require a black and white answer. What matters more is the recognition that the world is witnessing a major shift. The record-breaking queues of 2026 will be remembered not just as statistics, but as the moment when the global entertainment industry realized that the center of gravity had moved. And amid that shift, one name continues to echo, not only on queue screens or stadium boards, but in the collective memory of how music can make the world pause for a moment, hold its breath, and ask, if this is only the beginning, just how far will this madness go?